If we start by compromising and agreeing on things that we know we already generally agree on, then we can build the muscles necessary to navigate the hard stuff. You wouldn't go to the gym and try to pick up the heaviest weight there on your first day, would you? No, you'd build up some muscles first. That's what we have to do as Americans. We have to build up the muscles of working together so that we can get back to tackling the sticky, hard issues.
Howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the DINO WYO Podcast. As you may have noticed from the intro, we're trying a few things differently in this episode to see how people respond. Thank you so much to everyone who's already been sending us feedback on all sorts of things related to the campaign. On a personal note, I'm realizing that having the same phone number since middle school is making me very accessible to the people of Wyoming. And I absolutely love it! In this episode, I examine the topic of compromise, and some of what I'd try to bring to the position of governor as someone with that oh-so-rare quality in a politician called having a spine. As someone whose principles are firm, but whose principles make me believe that the entire point of serving in government is finding the common ground that the vast majority of people can live with, this topic is near and dear to my heart. So, let's get into it. Oh, also, this one contains one single swear. We legit tried to beep it. We'll probably just cut it from the audio next time, but it was kind of hard. Sorry to anybody that bothers, but most folks have said that they like the authenticity, so that's nice at least.
How can we as Americans come to a better understanding of compromise when it comes to politics? I'm going to give an example that's always confusing, and then I'll talk about this for real, but this will just kind of get me going. Think about the drinking age. I'm going to propose that there are two logical choices for a legal drinking age in the United States. The first choice would be to have an 18-year-old drinking age because you're old enough to vote, you're old enough to be drafted, you're old enough to go into the military, you can buy a gun. All of these things, you should be able to drink. You're also legally responsible for your choices. So, if you go drinking and do something stupid, you can get in trouble for it if you're over 18. Yeah, it's still an MIP, but you can get in a lot more trouble if you're 18 drinking versus 17 drinking. Now, the argument against that is always something about they'll buy drinks for high schoolers, and I'm here to tell you that high schoolers don't need an 18-year-old friend to buy them drinks. Somebody else is already doing it for them, or they're raiding your liquor cabinet. The other logical answer would be to have a drinking age of 25. Because your brain isn't done developing until you're 25. It is proven and easily demonstrable that drinking before you're 25 has long-term repercussions on your mental, development, and on and on and on. What do we have as a drinking age? 21. This is an example of a bad compromise and the way that Americans try to compromise. We go, what's between 18 and 25? 21? Fuck it, 21. It's the only thing in America that you have to be 21 to do. It's really freaking weird. I guess also owning some weapons. The reason I bring this up is because in America, we've been taught that compromise is choosing between two choices, picking the thing in the middle. I'll give a new example that might make it obvious why this isn't great. Let's say you have one person who really wants to genocide an entire race and another person who really does not want to genocide an entire race. Split the baby in half. Let's genocide half the race. That's why that sort of compromise has a very natural problem to it. And it's how we've all been taught to compromise. A better way of compromising is to understand the values of people involved and make a choice based on that. So obviously, if one person wants to genocide, the other person doesn't, we should go with the person who doesn't. If you were confused by that one, we should talk. You got problems. But there are a lot of things in America where you've got these two seemingly incommensurable sides, these things that cannot be measured together, that cannot be weighed together, that actually aren't that hard to put together if you understand what the respective values are of the people involved. Take, for instance, environmental protection, resource extraction. Now, some people, especially most politicians and members of the propaganda industry, will try to tell you that you have to choose, protect the environment, protect the rare owl or the super rare earthworm, or get that sweet oil money, baby. I'm here to tell you, you don't have to choose between those two things. You can choose both of those two things by investing wisely and understanding that one of the people's values is the long-term sustainability and dependability of our land, which we have a special relationship to in Wyoming. The other value is making sure that you can put food on your table and shoes on your baby's feet. Those are two valuable things. Also making sure that you have power so that you can enjoy being home, right? I sure like the comforts of modern existence, and I think you do too. Now, if you try to compromise between those the way that Americans do, what you get is either one side saying, we have the majority, we force our way, or somebody going, we'll just only mine like half of this stuff. No. You understand what the values are and you invest in preserving both of those. That's why I'm a big believer in stewardship and energy, stewardship and extraction. Let's just talk about compromise in general. The failure of our politicians is they only appeal to their base. They only work for their side and they try to force their way on the others. And so instead of us having reasonable compromises where 80+% of us are supporting something, you have situations where, the red team has 51 seats to the blue team's 49, so we're going to force our way. Or the blue team has 51 seats to the red team's 49, so we're going to force our way. So real compromise in America is about trying to understand the values that people have beyond just, we want lower taxes. Well, why? Because your value is, I earned this money and the government doesn't know what to do with my money better than me. Other people are like, we want good roads and fire stations and cops that are well paid. We back the blue, so we need taxes. Well, we can actually end up with a world where you keep more of your money and those things are paid for if we understand the values and work together to find a solution that accommodates those values and that works for everybody, not just works for my team versus your team versus whatever team. Hopefully that makes sense. This is a complicated, more nuanced topic, but it's very important and it's a big part of what I'm pursuing. If I have any superpower, it's that I can agree with anybody. I can find a point of agreement with anybody, and I can work with multiple people with different value sets to bring them together to find compromise. As a final note on this, the first step is not, in fact, working on a topic like abortion. It's working on stuff that most of us agree on anyways, like police should be well compensated and highly trained and the best members of society so that they can do their job well. Even the most crazy radical liberal that I've met agrees with that core concept. That's low-hanging fruit. Kids should have quality education. It shouldn't be cripplingly expensive to go to the doctor. These are things we all agree on. We all like good food. We all like to have fun, right? If we start by compromising and agreeing on things that we know we already generally agree on, then we can build the muscles necessary to navigate the hard stuff. You wouldn't go to the gym and try to pick up the heaviest weight there on your first day, would you? No, you'd build up some muscles first. That's what we have to do as Americans. We have to build up the muscles of working together so that we can get back to tackling the sticky, hard issues.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the DINO WYO Podcast. If you're wondering why there weren't more pictures of Nobu, I 100% agree with you. I want more pictures of Nobu, more pictures of nature, and generally fewer pictures of me. But we got a lot of feedback last week about how I need to stop dressing like a good old boy and buy a suit, young man. Now, I dress the way I do because I'm from Wyoming, and things like my Carhartt jacket are more comfortable than suits. Same with why I wear boots, not dress shoes. But I get where those folks are coming from. Their value is having a leader that looks the part and has the respect to dress for the job he wants. I'll be honest here that I'm nothing like the establishment politicians you're used to, so folks are going to be disappointed when they expect me to look, dress, and act like one all the time. But I figured that using these photos in this video, given the topic, would demonstrate that I know how to dress for any occasion and can wear the old monkey suit as I must. While this doesn't show me in any of my full suit and tie looks, I hope it does demonstrate that I'm willing to compromise to meet the values of the people I serve, and I promise I own plenty of suits and ties. Now, don't worry, folks. More pictures of Nobu will be coming soon, especially on our Instagram, where we're posting dog pictures every morning. So be sure to follow us there too, and to like, subscribe, and all that other jazz with all of our assorted platforms. For now, we hope you've enjoyed another episode of the DINO WYO Podcast. This is Gabriel Green, DINO candidate for governor in 2026, and I'll see you next time.